So today we will discuss neuroeconomics mechanisms of our decisions in various social contexts. We are social animals and normally we make decisions in groups. So for example, our economy is a form of competitive or cooperative behavior. So today we will try to understand how do we take into account decisions of others while making own decisions. So during this course, we discussed the decision-making mechanisms at various levels of complexity. So we first discussed the role of neurons, of single neurons in decision-making process. We discussed the activity of neurons in the area LAP, for example. So next, we discussed the role of different brain areas, for example, the functional role of the nucleus accumbens, of the ventral striatum, or the role of the orbitofrontal cortex and amygdala in decision-making. So next, we moved further up in the levels of complexity of the mechanisms of decision-making, and we discussed the role of emotions and our cognitive functions in the decision-making process. So today, we will make a step further and we will discuss the decision-making in various social contexts. So as social animals, we do normally make decisions in groups. And today we will try to use a neuroeconomics approach to understand the neurobiological mechanisms of decision-making in groups. So in order to start our discussion, I would first make one step further and I would discuss the role of evolution in our cooperative and competitive behavior. So according to the modern version of natural selection theory, multi-level selection theory, we are affected by different evolutionary factors. So first of all, our genes, our different versions of genes, compete with each other. And also our genomes, our chromosomes, the sets of genes, compete with each other at the level of individuals within the group. So the modern version of the natural selection theory, multi-level selection theory, suggests that we actually are affected by different evolutionary factors. So first of all, our genes, or different versions of the same genes, compete with each other at the level of the single individual. So individuals compete with each other, and natural selection here promotes competitive behavior, competitive behavioral patterns. But at the same time, we are the members of the social groups, and different groups compete with each other. So due to the selection between groups within the population, natural selection can promote within-group cooperation. So at the same time, we are affected by two important evolutionary factors. So first of all, natural selection promotes a competition between single individuals, or the group selection promotes a cooperation within the group and competition between groups. So we can summarize this idea in using the multi-level selection theory. So selection between individuals within groups favors cheating, non-cooperative behavior, while selection between groups within the total population promotes cooperation within the group to increase the relative fitness of the group as a whole group. So it looks like we're very well suited for cooperation. So modern theory suggests that at the group level, cooperation is advantageous. So when we compete with other groups, it makes sense to cooperate within the group because it brings us additional benefits. So in our society, it is quite easy to protect the group of altruists, the group of cooperators from free riders. So we can actually punish non-cooperators. And the price for the punishment is relatively low nowadays. We can use weapons to punish non-cooperative people. So we can reinforce cooperation within the group quite easily. We also have quite long childhood. So we have long socialization. During the childhood, we can internalize social norms of cooperation. So we are very well suited to internalize group norms of cooperative behavior. And finally, because we are social animals, we live in groups and we compete with other groups, this between-group competition stimulates within-group cooperation. So it is really important to understand a relatively simple idea, suggesting that our nervous system is adapted to our social life. So So basically in the same way as we adapt it to the environment. So many studies show that there is a correlation between the complexity of the social life and the complexity of the brain. So many studies show that the relative volume of the neocortex correlates with